For the second time this week, we're back at SJP as City look to continue their good form here against Scunthorpe United. This is Parklife. Coming up on today's show, we hear from Matt Taylor and Archie Collins. Matt J reveals all about his teammates, and we hear from the CCT's Pete Ferlie about the Santa run. But first, here's a look back at Tuesday night's late win over Crawley Town.
We are underway with the Grecians. With Sweeney, and he's got to it as well, Waters, and he slows it past the goalkeeper, and there's the first goal of the evening for Crawley. Jake Caprice, can he catch up with this one? Yes, he can. Good looking cross in as well. Oh, Bowman, and then the shot at the back of the net from Taylor. Really, really good finish from Jake Taylor. Smashed it in from just inside the penalty area. And Exeter City are back on level terms. There's a charge down, and it's going to be a goal here for Exeter City, and Ryan Bowman's first goal of the season. I'm sure he'll claim it. Absolute howler from Glenn Morris. Well, it was his goal, it touched him last, but Glenn Morris, that was unbelievable there. Has just cleared it straight onto Ryan Bowman. Strong boot from Bowman, and Exeter City, amazingly, are in front. 84 minutes played, and it is Exeter City 2, Crawley 1.
shot.
On Thursday, we caught up with this man ahead of today's early kick-off. Here are his thoughts.
Looking at Scunthorpe then, they've not had a start to a season that they would have liked. Do you see them as being in a false position at this early stage?
Yeah, to a certain extent. Like, it's still early days and there's still a lot of results which you're not quite expecting. Scunthorpe in lower league football, especially League Two, are a big club and a well-backed club. So you expect them to be performing better than they are with that group of players. I watched the game on Tuesday night and they conceded in the first 5 minutes and then played pretty well against Cheltenham. And we know what form Cheltenham are in, certainly at home at the moment. So they've certainly got some good players within their. It wasn't that long ago they were in League One. And still some players capable of playing at higher levels. So they're in a poor run of form at the moment. We know and understand that. Not too dissimilar to when we went to Southend. And on that occasion at Southend, we gave them something to believe in and something to hold on to. And we've got to do the absolute opposite this weekend when players come forward, be absolutely ruthless in terms of our mindset towards the game and take every opportunity that comes our way, while still giving the opposition absolutely nothing. So it's really pleasing. We're on the back of a positive end to the game on Tuesday, and we came through that together. We came through that collectively, and the squad made a good impact as well.
I want to take a step inside the managerial mind. Does it almost make it a harder game to set up for when you're playing a side that aren't doing as well, as opposed to playing a side that might be flying at the top of the table?
Not really. Look, the personnel's probably changed more than what a team towards the top end of the table, because if you're winning games, the team doesn't change too much, so it might be a bit more easier to predict a starting 11 or any trends or patterns in the opposition. But when you're losing games, you're always looking for solutions. But like I say, I watched the performance on Tuesday night, and they were not far away at all against a promotion candidate in terms of Cheltenham. So they're going in the right direction. It's difficult to know who's available, who's in form, and as far as I'm aware, what a manager will do on the day in terms of formation and personnel. So whether it's more difficult or not, look, we try and concentrate on ourselves as best we possibly can. We always take the opposition into account, but our focus remains on what we can produce on the day. And we know that if we produce a home performance with the characteristics which we've had time and time again at home for the last 12 to 18 months, then we'll give ourselves a really good chance and a really good platform to go and win the game. Like I say, we've got to take the last half an hour or second half of Tuesday night into this weekend's game.
And ever present in City's starting lineups this season has been midfield maestro Archie Collins. Here is the man himself giving his thoughts on today's game.
Yeah, I think it's another 3 points up for grabs. And with our home games this season and like last season, we want to win them. And I think we go into the game on a good bit of form, a bit of confidence. So we're looking to obviously turn up with a good performance and a good victory.
And it can only be a good thing that, Tuesday night we didn't play particularly well, but we still got the 3 points late on.
Yeah, I think the first half performance was nowhere near what we're about, and we just went back to the basics of our performances at home, and it just shone through us and just kept building and building throughout the game. And like the goals were just a example of like how well we worked and like changed it around. So I think it was it was a good 3 points to pick up.
And how are you enjoying your football at the moment? I mean, you've played every league game this season.
Yeah, I'm like loving it as usual. Like I'm playing, so I'm loving it. But yeah, it's just want to keep playing more and more, keep learning and developing as a player, and obviously get some goals.
Of course.
Some goals.
I mean, you're only young, but you're closing in on 70 appearances for City now. What's it like for you being such an experienced player, but sort of being one of the youngest out on the pitch? It must be a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, I don't really think of it like that, but yeah, I guess in terms of that aspect, yeah, you get more responsibility and such, so you've got to help the team when you see what feels right and what you've been through before in past performances, what it feels like the same and how you've coped with it. So I think you've got to pass on the message and help the rest of the boys out.
It's been 6 years since Scunthorpe last made the trip here to SJP, and who can forget that Craig Woodman goal in that 2-0 win in 2014. Will Barrett rewinds the clocks on City's clashes with Scunthorpe.
It's probably fair to say that our visitors today haven't had the happiest of starts to the season so far, with October being a month to forget for the Iron with 4 consecutive defeats. In terms of their historic record against us, though, the Iron have fared much better with 23 wins to our 17. There have also been 14 draws in a record that goes back to our first game, a 0-0 in October 1964. In recent years, Scunthorpe have been rare visitors to the park. Last season, we fell to a 3-1 defeat away at Glanford Park, whilst the return game was cancelled due to COVID. In fact, you have to go back to April 2014 for the last time these sides met at St James, and it was certainly one to remember for both sets of fans. On that day, the visitors confirmed their promotion to League One, despite goals from Craig Woodman and Jimmy Keohane that earned City a 2-0 win and secured our own status in the Football League. I'll leave you here with that thunderbolt from Tiverton's finest, and let's hope that this weekend's game can just conjure up a little bit of that magic.
If you had the luscious locks like Matt J, would you trust one of your teammates to cut your hair? Here is his answer, along with who's the quickest in the squad and the smiliest.
Who would you say is your best friend at the club currently?
Well, I'm a bit of a man of the people, but you know, I would say probably Jake and Sweens, because they've been through it all with me. You know, we've had our ups and downs throughout our time at Exeter. So yeah, probably those two I've known the longest. And you know, Jake gives me a lift every now and then when I need a lift to the garage or something. So yeah, those two.
I know we're in different times now, but who do you normally room with, and what are they like?
So this year I am rooming with Nicky Law. Nicky's he's a real character. I enjoy rooming with Nicky. He has made me a couple of cups of tea, but he's not too hyper. So it's quite nice just to have a nice roommate that goes to bed at a similar time to you.
A few of the lads have mentioned that Nicky's a bit of a joker. Has he ever played any practical jokes in your room on you?
No, not in my room. I think he likes to act up sometimes in front of the lads. So he doesn't do that in front of me in the room. But some jokes are sometimes aimed at me. So I know what he's like.
Now this is one that's come up and you've been mentioned before. But who has the best nickname of one that you could say? I guess keeping it PC.
Well, Pierce is Larry, just because Pierce is Larry. I think that's what the name that Pierce gets called. But yeah, I've been called many of nicknames. I don't know. Nicky always called me Buzz. I don't know. The joke's kind of already been said from Buzz from Home Alone, but I'm not sure about it. I'm trying to get rid of it, so maybe just blur out this question.
Does Nicky have a nickname? What do people call him?
No, Nicky doesn't really. He should do, really, shouldn't he? You know, something obvious. But I'm not really one for the nicknames. I just like, calling people by their names.
Who is the strongest, would you say, out of you guys? And Matt Taylor actually said you recently, didn't he? One of the strongest.
Pound for pound, I would say. But I'd be up there. But no, Josh Key. You should see Josh Key in the gym. He can lift some serious weights. We're almost actually running out of plates for him to lift. I think he's that strong. So yeah, probably Josh Key's. He's a bit of a beast.
Now, who thinks they're the strongest though?
I've seen Jake in the gym quite a lot recently, so I'd say he's he'd consider himself to be one of the strongest. Not Lawsy, definitely not Lawsy. I've never ever seen that man in the gym ever.
Which is ironic that his goal gif is him lifting weights, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's why, never ever been in the gym. So
You might not like this question, but if you had to let one of your teammates cut your hair, who would it be?
No one ever. I don't know, because they're all just jokers. They'd just take out a chunk when and it wouldn't grow back. But Parksy does his, I think, by himself. So maybe him, because he might know what he's doing.
Yeah, I imagine he'll have nothing left then. Well, yeah.
I might get you to do it.
Yeah, I'll do mine, so I think I'll be all right.
Yeah, you could do it if you like.
Who? And again, there's another one that you've been mentioned on before. But who would you say has the worst fashion sense?
I think Ryan Bowman. I think he wears stuff that probably shouldn't wear. He's a bit too old for some of the stuff he wears. He wears some Gym King stuff. It's very tight, and it's just not great in my opinion. But each to their own.
Who is the biggest joker? You may have answered this already.
I think probably Lawsy. He's a bit of a silent assassin as well. He kind of just chips in here and there when no one's really looking, and then it always comes back to him.
Who would be the last to buy a round of drinks?
We had this conversation the other day. I think probably Lewis Ward. I don't think I've ever seen him buy anything for anyone. So probably Lewis Ward.
Who is the fastest player in the team, would you say? I mean, there's a bit of competition probably this season, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, it's not me. I can confirm that it's not me.
You're up there, though. Top 5?
Yeah, top 5 maybe. No. I'd say Randell or Josh Key. They're both lightning. So, yeah, either of those.
Probably not too far behind, is he?
Yeah, Jola, yeah, actually, maybe Jola. Those three. But I think Josh and Randell, for me, are probably the top 2.
Be interested to see a foot race between those.
Yeah, we should do that, shouldn't we? We should sort it out. We could officiate it.
Who would you least like to be in lockdown with out of your teammates?
That is a tough one. Maybe Randell, just because I'm hearing his sleeping patterns are a bit weird, and he'd be up all night playing PlayStation. I just wouldn't be able to do that. I need to have my routine. So probably that, I'd say, probably Rams.
And who would you most like to be? And we'll say not Nicky, because obviously you room with him anyway.
Not Nicky, no.
Nicky.
I'd probably say Jake, because he's always got something to do. He can't really sit still either. So like me, so we'd probably find some stuff to do, a bit of DIY. We could renovate something, and yeah, I'd say Jake.
You could learn how to do your own car, couldn't you?
Yeah, I could learn that, couldn't I? Put it up and change the tyres or something.
And finally, we normally ask who's the angriest or anything, but who's the happiest all the time? Who's always got a smile on their face, regardless of what's happening.
Who's always got a smile on their face? It's difficult. That's a difficult one. Archie, I would say. Archie's pretty much. He's always quite constant. Constant mood is the same. So I don't know why. He's just got the same face all the time, but probably Archie, yeah.
Just loving life, maybe.
He just loves life. I don't know if he knows what's going on all the time. That's probably why.
On that note, thank you very much. Job done.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
This is the substitute, Alex Fisher. And they've pickpocketed them here. It's Joel Randall, and it
comes out here for a fine effort and a fine goal from Harry Kite.
Pressure off the ball from the visitors. Now there's another chance here to find the equaliser, and this time it is tucked in by Matt J.
Now, it might only be October, so I'm sorry that I'm going to start talking about Christmas, but 2020 is a little bit different, so why not? We can do what we want, really, can't we? Here is Pete from the Community Trust talking about this year's Santa Run, which unsurprisingly will be a little bit different.
It's never too early to talk about Christmas, but however, we must. Unfortunately, this year we can't do our actual Santa Run around the Exeter City Centre because of all the COVID restrictions. So this year we decided to take it virtual. So it's going to be around the same time, first weekend in December. We're asking people to walk, jog, run, cycle, canoe, climb, paddleboard, skip, whatever, to take part.
Is the rule that you have to do it in a Santa suit?
You have to do it in a Santa Christmas themed outfit, shall we say that. You can get a Santa suit or a Santa hat from us at a cost, but if you've got your own or one from last year, then feel free to do that. What we want to see is you being active in your Santa gear or your Christmas outfit. Being active is going to be important. We want to sort of put a smile on people's faces. You know, when people see us wearing Santa hats, there's always a big smile, always a bit of laughter. So it's going to be, you know, just a bit of fun. We want to put the fun back into Christmas because it's a bit gloomy at the moment in our lives. So let's put the fun back into Christmas.
I mean, you normally get, what, 500 odd people sign up for it?
So yeah. Well, it was 666 last year. So if we can get to 500, I'll be really happy. And people don't have to just be in Exeter. They can do it wherever they are, wherever you're watching this, in London, in Birmingham, wherever. Please sign up and we'll send you out a suit or a hat with whatever you want, and you'll get a medal as well for completing it.
Suitable for all ages as well? Something to do with the family maybe?
Something to do with an ideal thing to do with a family. So put the kids in the push chair, get grandparents to push the push chair, and you can go out and walk it around the family, with the family.
And how do people find out more? And if they want to register, how would they go about doing that?
So entries will open at the beginning of November. Entries will be via the Exeter City Community Trust website. Details are here. Please sign up and please come and join us. And we want to see your pictures of when you're doing it. Very important. Please send your pictures of you doing it to us so we can post them on our social media outlets.
Santa Run's not the only kind of race run you guys do throughout the year. What else?
That's right. What we also do, so what we'll also be doing, launching in November, is our other running events, our half marathon, our Granite Way race, our Exeter Marathon. So all the details of those events will be out on beginning of November. So sign up if you want to raise some money for your favourite charity or your favourite football club, or you just want to do it for yourself. We've got some great races, relatively flat courses for Devon, which is a great benefit for running around Devon. Well organised, of course, and in a nice, safe, friendly, supportive environment. So come and join us and have some fun.
I mean, and finally, what tips would you give for those people who might be beginner runners, or thinking maybe this is something I want to give a go? How should they best start?
So, if you're a beginner runner, the best thing you can do is download the Couch to 5K app and follow that 9-week program, and that will get you going.
Brilliant, thank you, Pete. Hopefully, you're going to get loads of people sign up now. And we'll see loads of random Santas around the city centre.
That'll be fantastic. And don't forget to send your picture of a Santa. I think we should do a prize for the most obscure, innovative place for a Santa picture.
Definitely. Sounds good. Keep an eye on all the social media channels for that.
Indeed.
We are a team that like to play football. I think there are a lot of sort of speculation about women's football and what to expect and stuff, but I think you're not going to know until you come and watch. And I think we are a team that like to keep the ball and play with possession. We like to play out from the back, play football, nice build-up play.
Been a while since we've seen your face. You obviously did your City and Me video. Well, it must have been a year and a half ago now.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot has changed since then. You spoke in depth about how much you enjoyed coming to games and what it meant to support your local club and stuff. And now the world is in lockdown. You've moved to Morecambe, so not much else has changed really, could it?
No. I'm in different end of the country, and I mean, no one can go to the football anymore. So yeah, it's completely different and probably not always for the best. So,
how much are you missing it right now as well?
A lot. Like watching it from a distance is hard anyway, but especially watching it from the screen, like just kind of sat watching it, you can't see anyone in the ground. There's like not really as much atmosphere. Like you do kind of miss the noise more than anything, I think, especially.
Have you been watching on all the games on iFollow, and have you been watching them on your own or with people? Or?
A bit of both. I've been kind of, when I've had the chance, I've been watching on iFollow. So, like, I think I've watched every Saturday game so far. So, and I watched Tuesday's game as well. But yeah, every time a game's been on, I've sort of either got it on through the radio or I've got the stream. So
it's just not the same, like you say, about that crowd noise. And
Yeah.
You can watch back some highlights from like a couple of years ago, and it just straight away you're just like missing. Even it could be like 2,000 people there, but it still just makes such a huge difference.
Yeah. Well, I saw a picture the other day that I took when I was on the Big Bank, and it feels so weird to kind of see yourself stood around so many people. Like now that just feels completely abnormal to be so close to all these people. But that's something that I do definitely miss, is just kind of being there, surrounded by everyone, and just you're all kind of there for one thing, and that's to support the club.
Absolutely. And I assume, your plans probably would have been to come back a few times and see a few games, or even to go to some away games close to where you are, but that's kind of been scuppered as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, 12 months ago when I was making my choice to come here, I kind of thought, right, there's a lot of clubs in the Northwest, and obviously I'm only like a 20-minute bus journey from Morecambe, so that would have been the easiest away game to go to. But now obviously I can't go to any games at all, so it's a bit of a shame. But hopefully at some point over the next few years whilst I'm here, I'll be able to get those grounds ticked off.
That's true. I mean, and you've started university not so long ago. What's it like in the current climate? It must be a little strange, and probably not what you expected when you signed up to go to Morecambe, I imagine.
No, it's completely different to what I was imagining 12 months ago. Like, you've not really had the experience. You can't really mingle with people outside of where you live in, and so it's been difficult to kind of get that social aspect in, as well as kind of being trapped in your room all day staring at your laptop or iPad screen, just kind of at the same thing, doing like the same things every day. Like, it's difficult to kind of get that real kind of like aspect of it that is kind of associated with uni.
Just going back to the football, like you said, you've seen quite a lot of the games, or listened to the commentary. I mean, we are 6 games in now, I think. 7 actually, isn't it? Not a bad start. 3 wins, 3 draws, and a defeat. Just that's that place. I mean, you happy with how things have started?
Yeah. I think from what I've seen so far, there's a lot of positives to go off. The start that some of the young lads have made as well, like Joel Randall and Josh Key especially, like they've just been playing so well, and just kind of come into the team and make an impact already. Like, that's something big that you really need, especially with a club like ours with such a massive youth setup. Players coming in and just kind of naturally slotting themselves in is hugely beneficial, I think.
It seems like, this year goals are in good supply as well, and have come from all over the pitch, haven't they? Last year we seem to see a lot of 1-0 wins, but we're scoring quite a few goals at the moment, which must be good.
Yeah. Sorry. It's really good to kind of see, especially with the spread of who's scoring as well. Like so far, you've not really had one individual who's jumped out massively. Like, I know Joe Randall's got, is it 3? He's got so far? Yeah, so he's obviously ahead, but no one's really kind of got a massive head start over anyone else. So it's good to see, and it'll be exciting to see who kind of pushes on as the season goes ahead.
That's true. I mean, and it was good to finally get that Crawley hoodoo broken of not beating them at home on Tuesday night, wasn't it? I mean, it did, at half-time. Half-time probably didn't look like it was coming, but...
Yeah. It was really good to kind of see us finally beat Crawley at home. It feels like forever since I've seen us beat Crawley at home, and obviously we beat them away last year. That was a good game to go to. But yeah, especially with like the frustration of the past couple of years, when it feels like it's that one game that's the must win, and we always seem to come up unlucky against them at home. Like, they've got, like, I don't know what it is. It's just when we seem to play Crawley at the end of the season, they always seem to step up their game a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. Scunthorpe on Saturday. I mean, the first time we would have reduced to play them, I think, just before lockdown happened here. I think that would have been our next home game. Haven't played them at home since 2014. I don't know if you would remember that game. I don't know, testing your age/knowledge, but the goal obviously scored by Craig Woodman. Yeah. I remember I was stood on the Big Bank for that game. I remember it was quite, I think, tipping it down. Everyone was sort of congregated towards the back of the stand, and it was just about half time, and we were all like, dangerous free kick, ball gets rolled to Woody, and everyone groans like, what are you doing? And suddenly he's in the top corner. Great scenes, I think they describe it as, don't they?
Yeah, I do remember that, and obviously I've seen the goal since, and you just kind of, and there's that thing where like everyone's just, there's no one at the bottom of the bank because it must have been a really wet day, and I think you can kind of pick up on that groan where everyone's just kind of like, oh God, what's Woody doing? Yeah, and then obviously it's a pretty iconic goal, especially in recent memory.
Absolutely.
And yeah,
some say
I think for that goal alone, Craig should be considered a legend, in my opinion, at least.
Some say the only City goal he's ever celebrated as well, I think, don't they?
From what I've seen, that's the only goal he celebrated, and I'm pretty sure. I think you tweeted a while ago. I think you went to a Tiverton game and he didn't even celebrate there.
No.
So it must just be him. He just doesn't like to celebrate goals.
Play it cool.
Yeah.
So obviously it's been a while since played them. They had a tough start to the season. I mean, they're sitting in the bottom three, and I think I've read earlier they'd only scored 3 goals. So with that being taken into consideration, again, it's still, it's in League 2. All games are going to be tough, aren't they? So you can't expect them to come here and get rolled over, really.
No, especially with League 2. Like, it's got a bit of a reputation for throwing out a surprise result. But, I mean, with the start we've had so far, I think as long as the lads kind of keep up their game, they should have it in there.
Hopefully so. But I'll have to push you finally for the classic score prediction, which, I mean, the closest we got was Tuesday, which we had someone, I guess, said 3-1, so they weren't too far off. So what are you going for?
I think I'll play it safe and I'll go for another 2-1.
So you take that for the rest of the season, to be fair, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would. Although I don't think we'll see a goal like Ryan's again.
No, I thought that when it happened, I'm like, we never tend to score goals like that. Like, you see them happen like most weeks, really, don't you? Like a keeper mistake or something. The only one I could think of was that Aaron Martin one against Forest Green, but that was kind of different. But where it sort of rolled in through the keeper. Yeah. But yeah, no, I was jumping for joy when that went in, because I'm like, we never seem to get that kind of luck, really.
No, see, I kind of stopped paying attention. Like, when I knew it went back to the goalkeeper, I was like, oh, he's probably just gonna hoof it away. So I kind of like picked up my phone to check like Twitter and that, and I just saw it went in, and I was like, oh, blimey, that's a good one. I'm sure I'll take it, and hopefully there'll be many more to come for Ryan this season.
Absolutely. I guess one last question for you. We've got 3 games left October, I think. And do you think anyone can beat Alex Fisher for goal of the month at the moment? I mean, he's set quite high standards there, hasn't he?
Yeah, unless we see like a Hiram Boateng-esque goal in the next couple of weeks, I can't see much else getting my vote for goal of the month.
No pressure on the rest of the lads then,
No.
Brilliant. Thank
as well, the circumstances for that just kind of,
yeah. Well, thanks for your time. I'll let you.
That's right. Thank you very much.
Studies and enjoy Saturday's game if you catch it on iFollow. Remember, it's 1:00.
Lovely.
So you have to get up early.
Yeah. Lovely. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
That's all for today's edition of Parklife. As we near kick-off, let's hope you're settling down with your drinks on ice ready for today's game. As City look to pick up 3 points. As ever, you can pick up your match pass if you still haven't already, and follow us on social media on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram throughout the afternoon, which means there's one last thing to say. Come on, City!